and he's gonna kill these stalkers. I'm actually not focus firing here, which is my bad. But something, this is probably pretty stupid on my part. Like, I shouldn't have done this. This is a waste of money. I wanted to save this pylon, but he is actually gonna get up and fly away. And then he's gonna come back with well, not huge, but a bigger force, and he's going to kill his pylon. As you can see here, he has a sensor tower up, so he can see like this entire area where if my units are anywhere there. So he probably saw that I left, and he lands and kills his pylon. Fortunately, I have a lot of pylons, so that wasn't really an issue. Transferring some probes. This mineral patch actually ran out, and I transferred them over here, so this was like way oversaturated. But now I'm over here, so it's all good. Now this is way oversaturated. I'm actually gonna pull some of these probes to do gas instead, and over here as well. So I'm running off 2 bases. He's just running off of 1 base. This was probably a bad on his part. Like, he could have been, like I said, burning his minerals and gas a lot faster. He could have built another command center over here. He's queuing up a lot of SCVs over here. This is probably because he realizes that he doesn't have that many SCVs. His income is, his minerals are slightly faster, but my gas is like 6 times as much, 5 times as much as his. Let's see, I'm building a Colossi here, upgrading my weapons. Upgrading weapons is pretty important. As you can see here, I'm at level 2 and level 1 armor. One thing I don't understand is why he's not doing any drops. Like, my base over here, there are 2 cannons, but if he did a Marauder drop and stimmed, he could take out like this pylon and unpower like 5 of my gateways. So I move my army in here. I think one thing I like to do is I like to psych people out. If they have a sensor tower, I'll move my army in. He's gonna see, oh my god, there's so many red dots on my minimap. And then he's gonna move back. One thing I have going here actually is I have this warp prison with 2 immortals. And something I heard recently is that people make a drop and then send the drop somewhere and then forget about it. And that's actually what's going on right here, is I forgot about this drop. I will remember to use it eventually. Oh, there we go. So I'm taking this warp prism and I'm going to be landing it here momentarily. But I'm actually being stupid, and like I landed right here and then I kill a supply depot or something. Yeah, like what the hell am I doing? I target this reactor. He was building a Viking, which actually, wow, that's weird. So the progress on the build doesn't actually change. The progress remains the same. It just becomes queued instead of being built at the same time. Well, that's good to know. He's building a reactor again. At this point, he's got a fairly big force. He's got 5 Vikings, and he's got a bunch of tanks and a bunch of Marauders. But at the same time that I was doing a drop in the back, I actually attacked from the front, and I'm killing his command center. I'm actually not going to kill it, which is kind of too bad. He is repairing it. I wanted to kill it, but I run back because I saw that he had tanks, and I was just like, okay, well, my zealots are gonna get evaporated by his tanks. Which, honestly, again, I could have probably moved in and killed him, but I don't know why I didn't. I just kind of thought tanks, even though they're 0-0, and my Colossi are 2 and 1, I thought, tanks are just so OP. And he is counterattacking. He actually scanned, he saw my force, he saw my zealot for like half a second. Nice use of EMP. All of these stalkers and zealots have no energy. He is focus firing my Colossi, but I am also focus firing his Vikings. Unfortunately, what happens here is that he actually has tanks, and tanks are OP. He sieged them up behind the lines, which is really, really good. And he used a few sniper rounds to kill off my zealots. I don't actually know what he uses sniper rounds on, but sniper rounds are really powerful. Yep, he's got a few ghosts here. Ghosts do a lot of damage. If you look, they do versus light 22 damage, and zealots are light. So 22 damage is a lot of damage. I do have 2 armor and 2 weapons now, which is good for me. His cloak was actually expiring, so he decided to run these ghosts out, which is a good call. But we're sitting here and we both have no army right now. I have a very little army, and he also has very little. I have 88. He's at 45 food. So yeah. So it's just another stalemate. We're just kind of chilling here. But what I'm going to be doing here is I'm tossing some of the probes over at the Xel'Naga towers, which is actually one thing that I noticed after watching this replay, that neither of us made use of these Xel'Naga towers. And these would have been huge if we had been using these Xel'Naga towers. We would have like a lot of sight into what's going on. Maybe not this one down here, but this Xel'Naga tower is pretty handy. When it's close to your opponent who's up top. So he is building more stuff. He's building more Marauders. He noticed that I have a lot of Stalkers and a lot of Colossi, which are armored units. So he's building Marauders, which is a good call. They do 22 damage versus armored units. So if he can stim these guys and just focus fire my Colossi, it's gonna kill over like super fast. He's also building some Banshees. I'm not sure what his intent with these Banshees is, as he is not researching Cloak, so he's not going to be harassing them. But he is just kind of flying around, and I guess they're going to be an addition to his force. Meanwhile, I am moving out. As you notice, I have no more Colossi. I don't really know why. Oh, never mind. I do know why. Because instead of spending money on Colossi, I was spending money on Void Rays. Which is actually a lie, because if you look at my resources, I have 2,600 minerals and 2,300 gas, which is just an insane amount. I'm just not spending minerals fast enough. My weakness as a gold player is that once it gets into like the mid-late game, I basically crater, and I honestly run out of... I like can't focus. He's done a good job here. He's using EMPs, and he was focus firing my stalkers. So this entire stalker force is gonna get wiped out. But what I did here, which was good, was I took out his expansion. He's obviously scanning for an observer, which is smart. But I didn't have an observer because I suck. So I do have an observer here. I don't know what the hell it's doing. It's just chilling. Fortunately, with this many resources in the bank, I am able to rebuild my force rather quickly. One thing that I would change is I would add on more gateways. I actually don't have that many. I have 7 here, and then an 8th one over here in this base, which is also oversaturated. I think I'm going to be actually moving some of these probes over here to the gold. One thing that he could do here is he could take these Marauders, just run down here and completely destroy this like super fast, unless I got there in time. I do have this probe here, the Xel'Naga Watchtower, so I'll be able to see if he moved. But he didn't. He's just playing pretty passively, although he's not turtling because he doesn't have any tanks, but I don't know. So these Banshees have a lot of energy, but they still don't have Cloak. Is he researching Cloak? No, he is not, so they just have a lot of energy. But this is actually where the game's going to take a pretty fast turn. So what I'm doing here is I have a bunch of Void Rays just chilling, and I'm going to have these Void Rays. I'm going to fly with them all the way around here, and I'm going to start attacking his base. Now I know that Terran players hate Void Rays. They just hate them. One thing that he could have done a little bit better is, he has a lot of minerals too, is he could have dropped some towers or some turrets back here. He has 1, but I mean I have so many Void Rays. So at this point he sees that I'm attacking, and he's like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to take this force and I'm going to attack him, because this is essentially going to be a base trade. At least I think that's what he thought. But you know, I have my observer here, so I see what's going on. I see that he's mobilizing his forces to attack. Fortunately, I have a ton of dudes just standing over here, ready, ready for him. I am building more carriers, I guess. I decided, what the hell, I have so many resources, might as well build some carriers. So I'm destroying his base completely, and he decides to move out. But his force is so small. But look at his minerals, 3,300 minerals. That could have been so many more Marines and Marauders. Kills his pylon. These two towers, their cannons are worthless. But at this point in time, my tech is so far ahead, and also my upgrades are so far ahead that it's basically a GG. He does have a couple ghosts here, but yeah, my Void Rays completely annihilated his base. So yeah, it's just a replay, friendly replay. There could be some improvements, especially from me. I have a lot of minerals and a lot of gas. I am building carriers now, and I actually was kernel boosting upgrades. So my carriers are actually two attack. My initial thought was that I wanted to get 2 attack for these Void Rays over here, but I ended up, just getting some carriers out. But at this point, the game was already so much over. So yeah, this is kind of my first commentary. I don't know if you guys will like it, but let me know what you think, and maybe this will help you guys improve too. And yeah, don't oversaturate your expansions like this. It's just so bad. Let me just have a quick look here. I have 58 probes, so I guess that's okay for 3 expansions. One of these expansions, yeah, this one is just totally undersaturated, so this could have been a few more probes here, and obviously a few more probes here with a couple extractors or assimilators. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, thanks guys.